Classic talking that shit. The following is Classic not giving a fuck. This is a presentation of Classic not having any fucks to give. This is a no fucks left to give production. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Classic Team Up. I'm your host with the most, and maybe you know me. I don't know. I haven't talked to you guys since like mid-October, but you can call me Classic because my name's right there in the show title. And I am back with another special edition of the Team Up. Every edition is special, but I have taken a break from I do the math here, November, December, January. Okay, I guess 3-month hiatus of not doing shows of myself to actually come up from behind the curtain, fire up the podcast, dust it off for the new 2017. Wish a Merry New Year to all of you. Merry New Year, beef jerky time. And welcome my guest. He is one half of the Crown and College podcast. He is the human do-rag flap himself, a.k.a. Frankincense Castle, a.k.a. the creator of the Arc Right himself. Black Dante is in the building.
What's happening, people? What's going on, boss man?
What's going on? You know you gotta do your AKAs, there, Jeremy. I can't.
Oh yes. It's Jeremy Black Dante, aka Confucius, aka Durag Jesus, aka creator of the Ankh-Right, aka Run Me My Coin, aka Somewhere Inside Your Auntie, aka
what?
If you ugly, do not at me.
My auntie got a bad hip, but you know what? If she's happy, you know what I'm saying? You enjoy the Marshalls shopping sprees, the TJ Maxx trips. You enjoy that.
Listen, okay? Listen. Nothing is wrong with a gift card shopping spree at Target, all right?
There it is.
Got the hook up.
You know what I'm saying? You got a Groupon, you know what I'm saying? Make that shit work.
Listen,
And then, we are live on YouTube right now, and you'll hear this on the podcast feed for CSPN. Go check us out at CSPN Media on Twitter, or go to the site cspn.us. Find out how to subscribe, listen to the show, and of course, the hashtag for our show is Classic Team Up, spelled just like the show title. So talk about us on Twitter, which you may or may not do. I've got some things I want to talk about. For one thing, we talked about Crown College. Actually, I want to bring that up first. I want to congratulate you and Dan on another successful year of doing the show with the CSPN network. I think it was around this time, not too long ago, that we picked you guys up on our network. And I tell you why I know it's around this time of year, around like the recent area of this year, of the year. It's because Temecula Day just happened.
Yes.
And that was when we first got together on your show. Like, I was a guest, and then I was like, okay, so now you officially with us. Let's get our first episode on the CSPN going. And what was that, 2 years ago?
Yep, it's 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago that me and Dan were independent, doing it on Podomatic.
Yes.
And we actually were. It's because of Mel and CJ. I consider Mel and CJ, I tell them all the time, they literally were the inspiration for me wanting to do a podcast and then getting Dan to do it with me. And they've been a flag staff for our network for a long time. I think they're on hiatus now. So
yes,
it's me, it's our show, and then the Bad Advice show that's kind of taking the flag staff for the network. And like me and Dan, it was 2 years ago that we decided to do this thing, and I'm so grateful that you guys decided to take us on and like give us a home.
Yeah. No doubt. And it's not because of, they know Mel and Siege, and Good Terrible, they know them. I mean, that was part of it. It's like, okay, well, they're friends with them. That's cool. But when I heard, okay, y'all got a show, it's called Chronic College, I got to listen to this. And I already knew about you guys on Twitter. I unfollowed you. And I think mostly I know Dan because of two things. One is he's always bringing up like misspellings
Yes.
people when people have him or
Yes.
something, and then he just like gets all the retweets and stuff off, and I'm like, yo, you were just doing a service to the community because I'm laughing my ass off right now, and that in most states, which that guy,
Right.
yes, so yeah,
Yeah. He's still with us, unfortunately.
yes, he's still in the league somehow, some way, but yeah,
Still
getting to
shaped
that.
like a goddamn donut.
Yes, exactly. Shout out to Oliver Miller, 2017. But in any case, you guys have been a great, sort of carrier of the water for the network. There have been times you guys have kept us going, like by yourselves. Like, you guys were like kind of the Westbrook of the team. Sometimes when we haven't had shows on a regular basis, it's like, well, I can depend on Chronic College because every Tuesday, every Wednesday, we gonna bust out another episode. And you guys have been consistent, and I appreciate that so much because we I would have shut the whole shit down had we not had Chronic College or Bad Advice or certain shows to keep us afloat, because I'd have been like, why are we doing shows? Why are we? And then the results come in and the listens come in, and I'm like, yo, okay, this is important to people more than just us. So we really got to come through for these people. And those who are listening, we thank you, the listener, for continuing to support us. And I got to thank you, Dan, because every time something happens, I'm like, it was a week that you had off the show because you and Jeremy were like, and I was mad at you for this too. It was a week that you and Dan had took the show off that week. It was like, oh, we're gonna do show this week, boss. We're gonna take the week off. I was like, cool, y'all. It's your show. You're entitled. And then you go and create a viral ass hashtag, and I'm like, why aren't y'all doing a show this week? What the fuck, dude? I was so hot. I was like, yo, let me tweet it. No, let's not be petty. Let me see what happens. Let's see what happens. They're gonna come back the next week stronger than ever. And I'm gonna tell you what put me over the top was some other show. I could name names. I ain't worried about it. My friends at the Fan Bro Show came out with an Arkwright episode of their show, which I do. I enjoy the Fan Bros podcast. Our friends are over there. Tatiana King, Saroma's been a guest on their show. I love the Black Nerd, contingent that takes place on that side, and we're gonna get to the Black Nerds too. Yeah, they do good work. But then the Arkwright episode, I was like, also I'm gonna listen to this, see if they give credit to my man Black Dante, to Jeremy, to Chronic College, to CSPN, and I was like, I'm 20 minutes in, I can't listen to this whole thing. I'm on my commute. I just got to work. I hopped out the car. I was like, you know what? I ain't even worried about it. I'm not gonna make an issue of it, but I'm gonna bring that shit up with Dan and Jeremy. Want to talk to them though? Like, y'all motherfuckers that missed out, but you came back strong with the Arkwright Rumble. People are recognizing that y'all are creators that you were the creator of the hashtag of the movement, and people, it's recognition that you're getting that's both positive and negative, right?
Yeah. So speaking of about that, like the whole thing was like, I never, like I've said this time and time again, even with the podcast, even though that's kind of I never started the podcast to like be famous. It was more or less like an outlet for me to like talk about the word and shit. And like I said, we got our inspiration from Mel and CJ, but like it's for as like I've always had this mantra on Twitter and with my tweets is like, I'm not trying to get famous off this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm just an ordinary country ass nigga trying to navigate through this fucked up, bigoted ass world we live in.
Yeah.
But
you're just doing you.
Right. But like, and like I heard of the Fan Bro Show. Like this is my whole thing about it. Like, I'm not trying to get famous off this shit, but at the very least, like run me my credit. You know what I mean? Because
exactly,
people were saying like who created and stuff. And granted, I'm not petty. Like if you don't know, you don't know. You know what I mean? Like it's no part in that, and I didn't mind it. But then I saw people give them credit for it, and then I saw the episode, and then I reached out to them. Also, shout out to my work bae Mel because she was about to fuck shit up. But
because I told her, I was like, "Yo, Mel, you see what's happening over here?" You know what I'm saying? I told these motherfuckers, we was both hot, but I was hotter than her, so that's why she reached out to y'all because I was going to yell at y'all. I was about to J. Jonah Jameson. I was like, "Yo, go out there and get that hashtag. Take that shit back, son." You know,
classic. I mean,
put some spec on Chronic College.
Well, damn, my bad. Sorry, my girl just texted me in mid podcast. But I mean, on classic. To be fair, I mean, you yell at us anyway. But I mean, this is fine. This is fine.
I do, but you know, it was a yell of love. It would have been the fact that, like, yo, you know what I'm saying, it was tough love. I would have been like, you know, because you don't see me get from behind the boards too often anyway. It's like, okay, I'll tweet to y'all, I'll email y'all, I'll be like, send me a show, send me your runner. It's going up tomorrow. You know, shut the fuck up. I'm at lunch, that kind of thing. But after that, it's like, okay, you're doing your shows, you're getting your downloads. I'll communicate that to you guys, and I'll say, hey, look, man, keep doing what you do. No, we can't talk about so and so's mother because we would get, you know, there's no FCC, but that shit is on record. Right. You know, I'm saying I'll just direct traffic and let you guys do what y'all do, what you do best, and you know, and continue to improve your podcast. In the 2 years you've been on our network, you've improved gradually and greatly to the point where you are a solid show. You know, and people tend to agree because the numbers show it, the listens show it, the recognition show it, the tweets show it, and you know, there might be a couple naysayers here or there, but I can tell you that they're probably either not listening to the show, or they just have some different agenda as to why they want to say what they say. But be that as it may, very creative. You guys are some creative dudes, and I want to see you continue to shine just as I do the rest of our network. And this kind of gets to another thing, which is recent recognition. And yeah, it's the classic team up. I'm talking about classic stuff, but really I'm talking about the network because it's my network too. You know, it's our network, me, Melanie, and all of you guys, especially Sir Roman Gordon of the Bad Advice Show, which got recognized as the number one podcast, a comedy podcast in Podcast in Colors list of comedy podcasts for 2016. So that's through the entire year. You list the top 5 podcasts in comedy, black podcasts, I should say. You know, because Podcasts in Color, they cover podcasts by people of color, black podcasts, Latino podcasts, etc. But they really got down and said, of these comedy podcasts, and shout out to Barry, the creator and editor-in-chief and runner of the Podcast in Color, friend of the show, friend of Classic. I've had her on the team before, and of course she's Bay. You know, hey Barry, and I want to basically thank her and thank the listeners of course Chronicles and of course the Bad Advice Show for continuing to make you guys continue to keep you guys popular, continue to listen, continue the feedback, because it motivates us to do more, do better, be a greater hoe, not a hater hoe, to steal some words from you, Black Dante.
I really got to get that shit on a shirt.
We got to get them shirts made. Yeah, I'm looking at a new T-shirt.
I've been coming up with gems every now and then, man.
You do. And shout out to the Wrestlecast too. Them hashtags be like kicking it, man. I look. People are like, yo, you do a great job with the Wrestlecast. All I do is the parting promo and upload the show. Don and Sam and Dee come up with all that creative stuff.
Fucking he who is Don De Laurenti. I ain't gonna talk.
He who is Don.
I ain't gonna talk shit about Don. I ain't gonna talk trash about Don. We gonna have Don. We gonna have Don on the show soon, so I ain't gonna talk shit about Don. Long as my only. I don't say it before. Like Don is like the annoying little brother of the network. Like only we can talk about it.
Don is like he's like Roger on Sister. Go home, Roger.
Yes. Perfect description. He is Roger. Like only we can tell him to go home. Like anybody else,
exactly.
Like we have to go eat hands.
Yeah, but, and quiet as it's kept, Don is almost like the glue guy too, because he's doing like 2 shows on our network. He's like probably one of the most valuable people we have on CSPN as far as like, you know, how he spreads himself and what he contributes. He's just fantastic. I'm so thankful for all you guys, man, and men and women, you know, just for what y'all continue to do for free, because I can't pay y'all yet. You know,
hey, look, for me the reward is like just doing the podcast and like black podcasting is fun. Like it's dope to
Yeah.
hear all voices talk about our shit and also everybody else's shit because I mean everybody tries to emulate and copy blackness and especially having black women
Oh
like
yes. Yeah.
have their voices heard and have because I think like on Austria I think we've had more black women guests on than black men.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And it's important to us because it's like well, for one, you need to have somebody that sounds like they're actually college educated other than Dan, because I mean, it ain't me.
Mhm.
So that's number one. And number two is like the podcasting genre is like, I mean, let's keep it a buck. It's mostly white oriented, and
By
then
and large.
white male oriented at that.
Mhm.
So to
I
have
remember when
other
I could
voices,
count. Yeah, I remember when I could count on one hand all the black podcasts that I knew about years ago.
now there's a lot of us. Like it's a whole ass
It's a library.
community.
Yeah,
Right, and like it's something for everybody, and that's why I
Mhm.
like doing it, and I like spreading all voice to us, by
Yeah.
us, for us. Shout out to Solange.
Yes.
Real quick, to go back to like the thing with Fan Bros, but yeah, man, it was it's no beef, and speaking of shout out to Tatiana,
Yes.
she's the one that I reached out to and that got back at like it's no beef and nothing, it's just
Of course.
as content creators, you just you want credit for
Yeah.
your work, and it's like I have no problem with nobody,
And you know what?
using that,
Yeah.
using it either as a hashtag or just saying right, because trust me, the shit that you may get for saying it is nothing compared to the shit that's been in my mention since I tweeted that shit.
Yeah, and we've had that happen.
Nigga.
Yeah, we've had that happen in these streets where people have started to use certain hashtags of word, and people get upset about it. It's like, yo, but we came up with that first. It's like, okay, fine, respect, but you're still not getting any coin from it because you didn't do your proper due diligence. You know what I'm saying? You didn't copyright that shit or nothing else. And
trust me, I'm gonna try to get copyrighted. I just gotta come up with these coins.
Yeah, that's saying do that shit.
I might start a GoFundMe.
Yeah, shout out to Run DMC, because guess what they did? They got after all these idiots in Target and all these other shops that are like, well, we gonna do Run DMC style shirts, and sell them. And they was like, run us our coin, though. You know what I'm saying? Just because Jam Master Jay is dead don't mean that, just because you saw me in the bathtub tweeting or texting people as Reverend Run don't mean I can't come after these ducats. You know what I'm saying? We in the Hall of Fame, goddammit. Run us our coin.
Run me my coin.
Yeah, I'm saying you want to use the font and everything else, and you know what I'm saying, and runs SMD and all this other shit, man. Co-op that shit all you want, but run us our coin. You know what I'm saying? Pay me, motherfucker.
Right. Pay me. Also, but also just on a side note, we have to thank the fact that Rev Run show with Tyrese is no longer with us. We have to be thankful for that.
Do we?
I mean,
It's kind of like how comedians are happy now because we got an idiot as president. Because it's like, okay, but now we got 4 years of jokes. It's like, well, if Tyrese had a show, it would have given us something to talk about. But it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other, or as Tyrese would say, it's a half dozen of one and a baker's dozen of 3 for 5. I don't know. He's gonna say something. Shout out to Tyrese Wisdoms. He's got all the gems on the timeline.
Yes. Go to Tyrese Wisdom if you want to laugh. Cause
I heard he's
shout out to Lee. Shout out to Lee for that page.
I was gonna say I heard it was run by one of the former coaches of the Los Angeles Lakers, but you said it was some dude that ruins tacos. I don't know. I appreciate good music. You know what I'm saying? I'm here for.
You never seen them both in the same place, so I mean, either.
I'm just here so I don't get fined, man. That's all. Anyway, you know what? I introduced myself, but I didn't go through the AKAs. AKA Black Scott Summers, AKA Blackwoman, AKA that's all I got really. I already use Frankincense Castle for you, Punisher, the Arc Right. Not the Arc Right, but the Arc Right now. There you go. So, but I want to get into something else. First, actually, let me backtrack a little bit. I want to give my what is it? Every 3 months times 4, 12. I want to give my quarterly apology to those of you that have been waiting for a team up. I had to do the math on that one there, Jeremy. I was like, quarterly. Yeah, I want to give my quarterly apology because my goal initially was to do a team up like every week, and it was like, no, I guess I'll do it every month. Nah, I guess I'll do it next time something happens. It was like the election happened and all these things happened. And I was like, but I'm gonna tell you what, really, I was mad as fuck. Every team up would have been me just coming on saying, fuck this shit. Fuck, motherfuck, fuck, shit.
I
would have taken
it.
Yeah.
You'd have been like, fuck this shit, I'm out. Hey, fuck this shit, I'm out. Come on now.
It would have been a Tourette's fest because I would have just been every third word would have been fuck. The following is parental advisory. Don't listen to this at work with the speakers up. Like I would have had to give all the disclaimers and be like, did you listen to that latest team up? The classic was by himself and it was like 2 hours of profanity, just uninterrupted. It was podcast gold, son. You need to send this to your friends. That wouldn't have happened. It would have been, this is a shit show. How could you do this? And we're going to get to the shit shows in a minute. But I want to say, though, thank those of you that have been asking. Thank those of you that have been checking out the network anyway, because I know you didn't come from me. But thank for those of you that continue to support everything we do. By extension, I share in all the success of the network as far as like retweets, recognition, people. Because I take that personally because I upload every show. I produce a lot of these shows, and I personally feel responsible for what we put up there, as does Melanie, as does every person on the network, from New Slate Podcast, Riding and Rolling,
yes,
on down. We have a great lineup of folks, and I'm proud of each and every one of them. What I'm not proud of is what's been happening lately on these Twitter streets, and I didn't want to do a show holding a grudge or having beef, but it's got to happen because somebody was out of pocket. And I'm gonna start this. I'm gonna let you set this up, Jeremy. I wanted you to go back all the way back to the root of this thing, how this started, because it started with something that I thought was beautiful, and then it was some slick ass comments. Just take focus back. How did this go down?
Honestly, like this shit happened like when I was asleep, because it started with my girl was
who's beautiful, breathtakingly beautiful, by the way. You won, bro. Thank you.
Yeah, she is. I won. Like
yes. I see your tweets and I'm like, yes, he is so happy. You got to be happy. Damn, do it.
Right, like she is like Bay is fucking gorgeous, and like she is like everything that I wanted in a partner. Like my friend.
I'd be pulling up Mrs. Classic. I'd be like, yo, check out Jeremy. Man, he's doing good. I'm so, man. But anyway.
Like she is everything. Like she's like my friend, my lover, my biggest fan. Like the shit is fucking amazing. She is fine as all the fucks.
Yeah, and you ain't. And that's the thing. You show her off. You put her out there. You know what I'm saying? And y'all have that understanding, and you are proud. So it's like, okay, you gotta show that pride. And your lady had that relationship on the timeline. You know, don't. You know, I mean, and here's the thing: people do what they want. So like, people were like, well, I remember Classic when the first year you was on Twitter, you didn't even talk about Miss Classic because that's none of your business, and y'all nosy as fuck. And Mrs. Classic still on Twitter. Y'all don't know who the fuck she is, and we like to keep it that way because, again, y'all nosy as fuck. That's how I do things. But I respect the fact that you can do things your way because, again, it's what makes you happy, and y'all are happy. So there it is.
Yeah, like I don't like trust and believe. Like I've been that, you know, in a relationship where, you know, we were incredibly visible and incredibly, you know, out there and shit, and that shit ended in trash. So you know, it's a lot of stuff that happens and stuff where, you know, both me and my girl, we are very private because we know motherfuckers be nosy and messy, but at the same time, like, we don't hide our love, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But with the story, like, this started with my girl, like, minding her business.
Yes.
Seeing something on the Fat Kids Deal page that she wanted. I think it was a humidifier or some kind of shit.
Yeah. Shout out to Fat Kids Deal, man. I got my Xbox One on that. Deal. Yeah.
Yes. They are really the hood plug.
Uh-huh.
But it started with that, and then some weirdo Pidgeotto looking ass nigga like randomly came on her mentions like sideways. I was asleep at the time, so I
Yes.
didn't know. And then I just randomly woke up to pee, and like she sent me a screenshot of the shit, and naturally I addressed it because I really don't care what you say about me or have beef with
Yes.
me, but what you're not gonna do is come sideways at my woman. That's what you're not
Exactly.
gonna do.
Uh-huh.
So I addressed it, and then words were exchanged and shit. And he got Pidgeotto tried to evolve into Pidgeot and get a little buck. You know what I mean, over the internet. He didn't say shit when I told him turn that location on since he froggy he want to leap. But and so the dude that Classic is about to refer to randomly like co-signed the shit talking about I'm glad you stood up. The dude that came with my girl talking about I'm glad that you stood up to the guy. He has a shit podcast anyway. And I'm like, I'm thinking like before I even recognized who it was, I'm like, wow, like that's some loser ass shit to like co-sign a dude coming at another dude's girl like unprovoked.
Yeah.
Unprovoked. Like you co-signing niggas quote unquote standing up to a man that defended his woman.
Yeah, and let's be real,
Oh,
you and Dan were roasting the fuck out this dude, and rightfully so, because it was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Look how you look.
He fucking ugly.
Yeah, well,
like even without me like making a joke, like he ugly. Like that's why I began to one of my AKAs like if you ugly, don't at me. Like you know what I mean? Like
yes,
stay in your lane, ho. So it's like you are a loser co-signing another man coming at another man's woman randomly unprovoked for no reason at all.
Talk about y'all relationship.
Right,
that's
talking
the
about
thing.
our relationship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like it's already like some loser shit. But then I realized who it was. And it's like, hold on, wait, bro. You talking about the podcast, talking about we have a shit podcast, but like you used to fuck with me. Like you used to
He got tweets.
like at me and like shout out to Dan. Dan had the receipts. Like it's like, dude, you used to be cool with me and say nice things to me and say nice things about the podcast. But now you up here co-signing some loser nigga that came with my girl sideways. So it's like, oh, okay.
Oh, now
I see what's going on. And
plot
so that's where, and here's where Boss Man Classic pops in. Go, just go, Classic, go.
What just happened yesterday? I had to have yesterday because I had a day to meditate on this thing, and I did one of those. You know how like Qui-Gon Jinn and like one of them Star Wars joints, he has to meditate. He's meditating before Darth Maul could come through, whatever. It's like I'm gonna meditate. I'm gonna think about the shit before I bust out the lightsaber and shit. I'm going to calm and come to a calm place and not fuck that shit. Not fuck it. All right. And I wasn't gonna do this, but here's my thought process: is I saw this go down. Y'all was roasting this cat, and I was like, "Yo, what the fuck?" You know what I'm saying? And this dude had like some weird, his hair was all reddish and stuff, and he had like some stuff. He kind of looked a little funny.
The nigga looked like a red mage from Final Fantasy.
Yeah, which would be cool if you was doing some cosplay shit, but that looked like some everyday shit, which again is cool. It would be cool. It's cool now. It's cool now. But here's the thing: I'm not going to say I'm not going to knock his looks, but don't come out your face talking about some people's relationship. You know what I'm saying? Talk about, well, you got your girl on your wallpaper, but she ain't got you on her wallpaper, so that's an L or some bullshit like that. Like, grow the fuck up, man.
No, that shit was so fucking funny. Like,
the fuck up.
And like, if you gonna be like at least, and here's my thing with it. Like, if Lee, and
let me just say this for those listening. I don't mean to talk over you because this is a shit podcast, so this is not gonna be like 5-star. This is half-star. Rate us on iTunes and Stitcher. Thank you for listening, motherfucker. But let's just be clear here. I forgot what I was going to say just now too. I'm drinking too much IPA. Anyway, go ahead.
I was going to say like you already trash, okay?
Yeah.
So that's established. Like the dude was already trash. That's cool. air quotes, that's cool or whatever.
Yeah, you
You
do
know what I
you.
mean? But if you do you, but like if you gonna be trash and you're gonna try to like roast back, at least have some good jokes, my nigga. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like if you
Well, that's the
going
thing. He was getting it from you. He was getting it from Dan, and then he started getting it from Dan got people. You got people. So I'm sure they
no,
all
dude,
came at him.
like
He
it
started
was
blocking
like
people at random. Like, oh, you
right,
know
no,
him?
no, 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 no,
Block.
no, 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 because like I said, this happened while I was asleep initially. I caught the
Yes.
back end.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody that follows me, and shout out to everybody that follows my girl.
Yeah.
Cause like they roasted the fuck out that nigga before we even saw it. Cause
You can.
remember this happened when I was asleep.
You can. You
So
can. Yeah. You can give it.
they
You can
got to that
take it.
nigga.
Yeah.
Right, they got to that nigga way before I did. So that's why he blocked so many people because niggas were making fun of him either on my behalf or on her behalf or just the fact that he was lame.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Here's a disclaimer. For those of you that listen this far, this podcast ain't about shit else but the fact that I got really mad about some shit. That's what this podcast is about right now. So for those thinking, this isn't a great podcast about the life and times of classic or nah, I'm not going to talk about politics or sports or anything else, even though Houston is just like rocking OKC right now on TV. I'm not going to talk about
airtime.
Yeah. I'm not going to talk about any. We might, but what this really is about is some bullshit happening. I got pissed and somebody's out of pocket and we about to show them their place because, that shit can't happen. Not on my motherfucking watch. And look, I'm gonna take it from here, Jeremy. And thank you for setting this up. So you and Dan are roasting this cat, and rightfully so. And he's blocking everybody left and right. In fact, he blocked the CSPN media site, Twitter. He blocked a few other people. I was like, well, no big loss. Sorry you came. Thanks for listening. Next time, don't talk shit out your mouth about somebody's relationship because you never know how that's going to bite back on your ass. But then this next dude came from the side like, yo, I'm glad you stood up to them. They got a shit podcast anyway. And then Dan was like, okay, well, look, listen, yo, you listen to this shit podcast over 100 times, so obviously we can't be shit. Like he had the nice.
Had the receipts.
He had the receipts, and I was gonna leave it at that. I was, but I thought about this. Why he coming at Chronicles? Why is he coming at Dan and Jeremy? And why is he coming at me? And I say this, I took it personally because I'm as much a part of this show as you guys. And I don't want the recognition like, oh, Chronic Hollis is produced by Classic. But fuck it, I produce and put up every episode of every show on the CSPN network. Every last episode that you hear on this network, whether it's Bad Advice Show, Good and Terrible, WrestleCast, all your favorites. Even if you're not listening to this podcast, I put up, and I'm so proud of each and every last one of those shows. I don't care if no one listens to this particular episode of Team Up, but I'm letting y'all know right now, if you're listening, that I am so proud of every last one of the people we have on our network, and there's a reason we have them on our network. And you come at Dan and Jeremy personally, they can handle it their own. They're grown men, but you come at our show and talk about we have a shit podcast. I gotta check on that because you're talking about the work we put in. You ain't just talking about the quality of the show is lacking, the audio. There's always somebody chewing sunflower seeds in the background. Fuck it, I love ranch, so it's going to be on my podcast. They're drinking a lot. Well, I like beer too, so guess what? You're teaming up with me and this bottle of Lagunitas IPA, motherfucker. Check out Beer It Is on the CSPN network. # Beer It Is Pod or at Beer It Is Pod with Nobias Wilborn talking about craft beer. Black people need to learn about craft beer. As a nice little side plug there. But we all put in some work for free. Free 99, free 50 if you want the discount. We are not charging for a single episode. We run ads. We try to do things to raise some money, but we do this out of love for y'all and because we want to do it. And there's people out there with better podcasts. And here's the thing. I took this comment that this guy had and I stewed on it. I thought about it, meditated for a minute. And I thought a couple things. One was, okay, well, maybe he's a listener that's disgruntled and maybe that's his man's and he got mad, whatever. Cool. I'm gonna let that slide. We let that slide. Dan already told me, well, you listen to us, so whatever. And I even tweeted from the CSPN account. Thanks for listening. Please tell a friend. Hopefully, someone smarter than you to listen to.
Yeah, I saw that. That shit was beautiful.
Yeah, and I thought I was gonna leave it there, but then I thought something else kicked into my head. I was like, wait a minute, where's his podcast? And I hate to put it like that, but when people say, well, this is a shit podcast, that's a different criticism than I listened to the show, and I didn't like that part where you guys kept talking about LGBTQIA issues. I didn't like when you were talking about Tyrese, because I'm a big fan of Tyrese. I didn't like this. I didn't like that. The feedback was, it's a shit podcast. Like, motherfucker, what podcast do you have or listen to that's not a shit podcast? So I did some digging, and apparently Ed, I'm gonna name this guy, or I won't name the guy because I don't do that doxing shit. But his whatever is Art Blurred, and he has his Twitter name is Lansing Antihero, and so he identifies as a blurred. He's awkward, whatever. He's got a podcast, and it's on the Blurs Online site. Now, I fucks with Blurs Online. I listen to a lot of what they have. I read their articles. I follow them on Twitter. I respect them a lot. I retweet some of their stuff when they have articles I like, whatever, because it's like creating voices for the community. So my first reaction, thing is, Blurs Online, what's up with your mans? How's he gonna come out here and talk that shit about one of our podcasts that we put out when we're doing the same thing? We even got Comic Book Chronicles and a lot of other Black nerd things on our site or in our network that we try to do. In fact, we've been doing Black nerd shit before all these blurs came up on the coast of the podcast. I'm not even going to talk about being an old head OG in this game. But part of that problem is because I've been doing this shit since 2011? And what year is this? 2007? 6 years, dude. 6 years after I got tackled on a Brooklyn sidewalk and broke my 2 front teeth. I came back to VA and was like, yo, so I'm gonna do this podcast because I ain't got shit else to do because I'm not going outside for a minute. And that became the Coast of the Podcast, and we had a nice run. We went to the Coast of the Podcast Network, expanded, and the rest of the story. We put in some sweat. We put in some work. Every last one of us on all of these shows. Put some respect. Put some spec on Crown and College, son. Put some spec on CSPN. Put some spec on Dan and Jeremy. You might not like their podcast, but you come out your mouth and say that they're a shit podcast, bruh. You better be Fan Bro Show. You better be Rod and Karen on the Black IU Tips. You better be Single Simulcast. You better have some clout. You can't come to us with talking about we a shit podcast and you have 2 episodes of your show. 2. Who the fuck are you, dude? I'm serious, my guy. Who the fuck are you? My Brooklyn's coming out right now. Who the fuck are you? You're nobody. And I'm not saying this to say that you're nobody, like, oh, we're somebody, we're big shit. But you can't come at us like that, son. You know what I'm saying? Do you know how much work we put into these shows? And then you want to call us a shit podcast. You know what I'm saying? This right here, Classic Team Up, this is a shit podcast because you know why? It's the beginning of my fucking shit list, and you are at the top of that motherfucker. I'm serious right now, dog. Well, do not come at my shows. You could come at me. You could come at Mrs. Classic, maybe. You're going to be dealt with a different way. You could come at any of our hosts. Maybe. Yeah, I'm saying you're going to be dealt with it. But you come at my shows like that, talking that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And I can understand. Look, I can understand jealousy. I can understand, they do it better than we are, so fuck that shit. You know what I'm saying? Why not us? Look, the whole reason we started our show years ago, and the whole reason I continue to do shows is because every time I hear a show, I think, that's cool, but why not us? You know what I'm saying? And when I hear you guys, why not y'all? Why not 2 motherfuckers that sound country as motherfucking shit talking at, talk about Crown Royal and collard greens and catfish dinner in your ears and misconnections. Why not y'all? Why not black folks talking about wrestling? Why not black women talking about pro wrestling? Why not, 2 drunk aunties talking about the issues of the week and talking about things that affect, women that have children? Why blacks talking about comic books? You see what I'm getting at here? Why not black black girls who are nerdy and that have affection for things that are in sci-fi that can have a position for themselves. Why not black podcasts of color? Why not black nerds and blurs and people that identify themselves? There's lanes and rooms for everybody. But guess what I'm not going to do? I'm never, and none of us are ever going to take another show that puts in that work, even if it's run by fucking Charlatan Maine the God, and he's got a podcast, and I can't stand that motherfucker. I'm never gonna be like, brilliant, it's a shit podcast. I won't listen to him. I won't listen to them, but they put in work. Every last one of these shows
he's a shitty human being, but I'm not gonna say they don't put the work in.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I may not fuck with the work, but or him because he's a horrible human being, but far as the work of a podcaster and a podcast as a content creator myself, I understand the work that's put into it.
I say this again. Who the fuck are you? And I'm not saying that to say, oh, we're big shit and you're not. I'm saying, yo, get your weight up, step your game up. Don't come at our shows talking that bullshit and you ain't got but 2 episodes. 2 actually episodes that might actually be pretty good. But the fact is, and you know what, here's the thing, I don't want you to fail. I want you to succeed. I want you to have a good podcast. I want it known that this is not coming at you saying, I hope your podcast fails and I hope that you know what I'm saying, eat a dick and die. Nah, but guess what? You cannot come at our shows like that, son. There's some respect that has to be had here. Blurs Online. What's up with your mans? I'm about to send them a angry missive email, whatever, and say, look, man, y'all can't come at. You know what I'm saying? Because I fucks with y'all. I still follow them. I stopped following this cat because I'm like, yo, this guy's greasy, man. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if that's how things go down in Lansing, Michigan, but I'm glad your location's on because you keep talking that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? We have a network of podcasts, bro. This is not just one. There's a lot of us. And
hey, look, all I'm saying is CJ got a license to carry. That's all.
Oh Lord, my God! I don't want to. I don't put CJ. No, it's not even like that, dude. I want him to succeed. I want his show to succeed. There's some tips you can use to improve your podcast, my friend. And I'm not saying this to belittle what you're doing because I see the effort that you're putting in. But again, my G, you have 2 episodes. What's Chronic College episode on?
10. Next week it'll be 104.
There's 52 weeks in a year, bro. 52 weeks. Multiply that by 2. Do the math, homie. Every fucking week. We've had weeks off, and we still put out episodes. They still do their shit. Put some spec on Chronic College, son. Chronic College has carried our network where no one else has, and I got the numbers. I really thought I was going to compare numbers with this dude and his podcast, talking that, oh, well, they got a shit podcast. We have 4,000 listens on a daily basis. 2 episodes, G. 2 fucking episodes. Get your weight up, son. Don't come at me with this bullshit. Don't come at us with this shit. This is why I had to dust off this mic. For no other reason. I was going to play some Star Wars Battlefront, and I was going to force choke niggas online, but now I got to come on this podcast and force choke you? Nah, son. It's not going to happen. I really hope your podcast succeeds. I really wish success on your podcast, on your show, on all your ventures, because I want you to get big enough, famous enough to look up at us the same way we look up at a lot of shows and get jealous as fuck because for every little download and episode that you put out there, we're going to have 4 times as much as you because Chronic College has been working. I want you to look up at us and say, oh, man, Blurs Online has kicked me out. I want to get down with CSPN Media. Let me join you up with you guys, Classic, and I will look back at you. Look at those receipts. Look at that spreadsheet I'm keeping of all these things that you done said and did, and I will look down at you, and to quote Watchmen, I will say no. Don't fuck with us! Thank you very much. This has been the pettiest episode of any podcast ever, and I am not ashamed to go there with this because you do not come at my podcast or my network. I take this really personally.
Yes.
I will come after. I'm Liam Neeson right now. I can't see right now. I'm just like this rage. And that's the thing. You don't deserve this. you might have fucked up. I even gave you a chance earlier today. I was like, I tweeted just like, maybe you tweeted this from a place where you didn't know better. Maybe you misspoke because you only have 2 shows.
Now I got something to say on this. And
who the fuck?
Who
the fuck? Who the fuck is this guy?
Like,
try that shit on the train. Try that shit on the train. On concrete.
Like,
I'm being silly right now.
Yeah, he. I ain't gonna lie though, he did tweet that shit from a place of hurt because like because I like went on his TL like when he was like hyping up old boy that came in my girl, and he was like, he tweeted that shit from a place of hurt because his timeline was looking like, women, I'm the loser that women don't want because of money and why I chase love and shit. So he might have been tweeting that shit from a place of hurt. With that said, still fuck that shit because now put some respect on my podcast.
You a grown ass man, you got hair on your chest and hair on your nutsack. You hurt, deal with that shit, motherfucker. Trust me. I'm 41. I've dealt with years of hurt, and I've never taken that shit out on somebody on some bullshit. Been doing just fine since I was 17 years old, and I started calling myself and trying to call myself a man. I never came at somebody talking about, well, you got a shit podcast, fuck y'all anyway, because I don't know who's gonna punch me in the mouth one day.
Listen,
don't come at these people that have been putting in that work because you do not know what the fuck goes behind these shows, and you're learning that shit right now, and you better study. Because I've heard your 2 shows, and I'm not impressed. I am very unimpressed with the fucking shit that you say you want to compete with. Come at Crown and College with some good shit, and maybe we're going to take you seriously. But for right now, you're going to get this blazing hot episode of Classic Team Up dedicated to your ass. Feed them to the Sharktacons. I'm bringing that shit out. Retirement right now. The Sharktacon pit is right there for your ass.
I don't think I've ever seen Petty Classic before. I like this.
God damn it. No, I used to do this every episode. Every episode of the Old Coastal of the podcast, we had a section called the Sharktacon Pit. And it was like, what do you want to feed to the Sharktacons this week? And it was always like people that text while driving or some other bullshit. And I got so mad. It got to the point where I had to go last every time. And Tim and the Eclectic were like, oh, okay. I thought I was angry. Like, that was my release. I didn't think I was going to do this episode this evening because I came home and I put on some Star Wars Battlefront and I was chilling and it was like, okay, I actually feel a little better. I'm gonna tell Jeremy to cancel this shit. Nah. As soon as I got on with you, we started talking. I was like, nah, I remember what this motherfucker did, and it's not that serious what he did, but the fact is he did it. And this is a warning for those of you that want to talk shit about podcasts. I don't even give a fuck if you talk that shit about our podcast or other podcasts, but if you do, there's gonna be repercussions. Because guess what? I can understand if you don't like the content. I can understand if you don't like certain aspects of a show. But to say something's a shit podcast without being able to do better or without being able to present better options or just say it's not your cup of tea. Say it's not what you rock with. There's a lot of podcasts I don't fuck with. There's a lot of podcasts. You know how many podcasts we get emails about, talk about, hey, love to be on your network. What's up? And some of them I either respond to and say not now, some I turn down, or some I say, but at no point do I go, well, your podcast is shit, so nah. Because guess what? Everyone puts in work, and I know even the ones that could use improvement, I'll give them some tips. I'm like, okay, but you could use this, and that. I'm gonna see them down the line. There's podcasts now that are popping, that are hot right now, that I remember when they started, and I was like, good for you, man. Saying good luck. I remember when Fan Bros started. I was like, oh, I remember when Black Girl Nerd started. I remember all that shit started. You know what I'm saying? And I should be really mad that they passed, some of us by or whatever. I'm not, because guess what? This is just another part of business. They put in work. At no point do I go, oh man, that should be us right now. Because guess what? They put in the hours that we didn't put in. They was putting in hours when we was sleeping. They was putting in hours when we was working day jobs. They was putting in hours when we was in school. Put in your work. Get your weight up. Don't come out your mouth say slick shit. That's the point right there. That's the whole point.
Right.
All right. And put some respect on Crown and College, son.
Put some respect on my fucking name. You know what I mean? It's like
put some respect on CSPN.
It's like this. The thing with the Ankh right shit. Like, I'm not a really braggadocious person. I really try not to have the big head on a lot of shit. You know, that's just me. But when it comes to like my craft and what I do, dog, like I put in work. Like, do you know how, it's not easy creating content. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Do you like it's times when me and Dan really don't have nothing to talk about and we don't have a show. Like the last episode we had on the battle the Ankh Right Rumble. Like we really didn't have much to talk about other than that Hotel Civil War shit. Like that's really the only like keen topic that we had. And you know what? We still made a show and we still made a good show. You know what I
You
mean?
know,
That takes work. That takes time. That takes effort. You know what I mean?
days that you
I
don't want to
get
do
like
shows, days that you
right.
don't feel like it, and y'all still
Right.
putting it out there. You know what I'm saying? Y'all still putting that effort out there.
Every week,
Yeah,
unless we let you know, unless we let Classic know the age Classic, we're gonna take a break. Every week we do a
yeah.
show. Like it takes time to get the content. It takes time to
You know,
create that chemistry. It creates time. It takes time to know your lane and know your format and know how you're gonna
mhm.
do it and
Yeah.
what effects you want to have in the show and stuff. It's stuff that we want to do that Classic has told us like, hey, bro,
Nah.
we ain't gonna be able to right. Like,
Yeah,
nah,
I ain't
we ain't
going to
gonna be
jail.
able to do this.
Yeah,
we ain't gonna be able to do this. And you know what? That's fine.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But because even though like we understand the limitations, like we put in the work, we know what we're capable of. We've turned shows where me and Dan didn't have not one thing to talk about, and we still put out a good quality 50-minute show. You know what I
I'm
mean? So
I just
go
can't
ahead.
let people shit on what the effort, the work that y'all put in. I can't, and you know what? You're not just shitting on the effort that we put in as a network, or what you guys put in, or that
Other
we
podcasts, like
other
just
podcasts in
the
general.
right.
You know, this a shit podcast. And guess what? This is a game you're getting into. This is a format. This is a business that you are getting into, and you are coming out your mouth with this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody gonna listen to your show if this is how you run. Maybe this is the audience you want to get, all these hurt, dejected motherfuckers that are like, well, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be awkward too. And you know what? I love blurs. I love black nerds. I hate the term blurred, but whatever. I love the fact that, black folks are embracing the inner geek and that they are putting themselves out there. But guess what? Just like the troops and so many other people, there's assholes among you. And I don't know if this guy's a real asshole or not. Maybe that's how they do things in Lansing. But this is a real dick move. It's an asshole move. And people are like, oh, Classic, this is petty of you. You're being an asshole right now. Well, fuck it. You should have known I was an asshole the last time. You know what I'm saying? You should have known I was an
That is,
asshole.
I mean, I don't mind because he co-signed some fuck nigga coming at my
You
cousin
should.
my way.
No, not even
So
that. You are finding out I'm an asshole because you're bringing it out of me right now. You know what I'm saying? And I really could have gone high road. I've had beef or podcasts pretend and real before. You know what I'm saying? I've had people talk shit about me. I've talked shit about people. But nah, man, I cannot let that slide. That call you hear in the background is what is that? That's the Wrestlecast. They're getting started right now. That's my phone going off. Anyway, and I want to thank our listeners, our supporters, our longtime friends. Shout out to Iowa Class and Shante Fabulous, who are giving us some love on the timeline. Might be watching. And I want to thank all of our friends and listeners, man. Even this motherfucker that's bringing attention to us, because guess what? Some of your followers then saw that bullshit and they was like, what's so mad? What you so mad about? And guess what? They're gonna listen to the show and they're smarter than you are. And again, I really hope you have a great show. You had some wonderful guests on your first and second show, and this sounds really condescending because it is. But I really hope that you don't play an entire fucking song before you start the show, that you learn how to use a fader, that you do some different things with your sound quality, that you learn to amplify your voice so it doesn't sound like you're talking in your shirt. I really hope that you do these things and evolve and grow as a podcast so we can fucking crush you years from now or whenever you decide that you get your weight up. Because right now, 2 episodes and you talking that shit about we're a shit podcast. I cannot let that shit go. It's hurting me right now, man.
like
How the fuck? I'm gonna add whoever this motherfucker is in when I post the show. Like, get in here and listen, because I want you to know this is a master class, not just in roasting you or saying that you or going off on you. It's a master class in how to really have a shit podcast. This right here, this is the shit podcast. You know, I'm going to remember this. This is bulletin board material. You are going to make when CSPN media is great as fuck in 2017, 2018. I want you people to remember this episode and remember this motherfucker that tweeted that bullshit about us. I got that shit screen capped. So if he deletes that shit tomorrow, it's there. I want people to know that this is the turning point. This is the moment where we became a great fucking network. This motherfucker right here pissed me the fuck off. And I talked about this shit with Mel, my partner, Beauty Jackson, about this. And I said,
my work boo.
Hey, you could have her. You could have her as your work boo. That's my partner, right? That's my partner. Cry, my God, she is. Oh God, look, she was like, "Go ahead, do it." I was like, because I wanted somebody to talk me down off the ledge and say, "Don't go after this." BlurrsOnline.com. What's up with your mans? Really, I gotta find out what's up with your mans. And look, I've had differences with people before. Remember you guys was talking to Snotty about Temecula shit? I couldn't fucking stand Snotty. I had him blocked. I couldn't stand him the whole time. I was like, "Oh, y'all want to talk to Snotty? Well, just send me the episode." I was really hot. But you know what? He's doing his thing. Bygones is bygones. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even worried about it. I don't even know how we feel about each other. I'm like, whatever. That's how it goes. People get over things. I don't know if I'm gonna get over this because this came from nowhere, and you must be out your fucking minds, dude. You really do. And the fact is, you listen to podcasts. You know what goes into these things. So maybe you're saying, "Oh, it's shit compared to the Bodega Boys," or "It's shit compared to some of my favorite shows." Maybe, but where's your show? What you got?
Where's the receipts for your show? It ain't even like.
You know what I'm saying? Are you setting goals? Are you saying you want to make our podcast shit compared to your show? Because if you're setting your bar that high, please do. I want you to make our show shit. I really hope your show is like fantastic. That it's on Podcast and Color's top 10 list for next year. Did you know that one of our shows made Podcast and Color's top 5 list for comedies for Pommy Podcast? Did you know that? The same network that gives you the shit podcast, Chronic College, that gives you this shit podcast, Classic Team Up. We out here doing big things. But you know what? I'm not. This is my show. This is my show to toot my own horn, talk that shit. I also want to announce something too. I'm coming back. I'm not talking about coming back with Classic Team Up. I am coming back with more Classic Team Ups down the line. But I'm coming back. 24's coming back. Jack Bauer. It's not Jack Bauer. It's some next dude. It's a black dude. And that's going to come back after the Super Bowl. And I'm going to recap every episode. Because that's what we do. That's what, if y'all remember Another 24, that's what we do. That's what we're coming back with. So more to come on that. You're going to see that on the timeline. You'll see that in these Twitter streets. You'll see that on your iTunes and your Stitcher. Continue to follow us. Jeremy, let's do an ad.
All right. Let's do it.
I'll let you do it. Let you do it. You got practice.
You know what? That's fair. That's fair.
Right.
Because of the two of us, Dan is the one that sounds like he educated and can read. So it's fair. So you can keep all our wonderful podcasts free by shopping with us through our website at cspn.us. Go to that Keep All Podcast Free link and shop through our sponsors. You can shop through Adam and Eve and use the promo code OTOY. You can shop through Amazon. You can shop through Busted Tees. And all this does is keep, it gives every purchase you make, it will give the CSPN a portion of the proceeds to help us pay for bandwidth and all other things. So Classic can keep this podcast network free, so you won't have to listen to me and Sarone sound like a pair of Amex 95s and a cigarillo.
What? Yes, do that. Again, cspn.us. Click on the Keep Our Podcast Free link. Buy stuff. We've got some great sponsors again. Adam and Eve Toys. Shout out to CJ. And Otoy. Which is my gosh, she can only she can do that. I gotta call Siege and just ask her to do some drops for me and not record them because that's shady. That's really shady. I'm like, can you say Otoy for me like 5 times? Just do 5 different takes. It's like, how's that? I'm like, Yeah, so let me hit record next time. That's terrible.
Right.
That's terrible. No, but here's what I am going to do. I am going to say, if you continue to do that, continue to support the network, we will continue to grow, do things, and look for more out there from CSPN Media, from the network. As far as, first off, we want to find out what your feedback is. We will have a survey coming out. Even if we're a shit podcast, put that down, because that's going to help us grow and improve. Except for you, motherfucking Arcblurred, you cannot say we're a shit podcast anymore because you don't have but 2 episodes. If you got more than 2 episodes, or if you are just a listener and a fan of podcasts and an aficionado, and you're not in the game trying to come up and don't have respect for the motherfuckers that's been doing it for years, feel free to fill out our survey and let us know what you think of us. That's a really loaded promo for a survey, but it's going to sway a lot of people that are filling out the survey. Whatever. And more to come. But thank you for supporting us. I don't know what else to talk about right now. I think we're at a point now where we've pretty much exhausted. I've exhausted my rage pretty much. Thank you so much. What you playing right now on Xbox? That's what I want to ask you.
Right now I'm playing. As we're recording, this is live on the air podcasting, by the way, which also takes skill, because there's been many episodes of Crown and Collars, a wonderful show on the CSPN network, a shit podcast, as some would call it.
It is the shit. It is not a shit podcast. It is the shit. Your podcast is the shit.
Yes.
This podcast is a shit podcast.
But there's been many episodes where I've been playing 2K, and the listeners have not noticed, or if they have noticed, they aren't paying attention to it, because our content and our creativity is so wonderful.
I remember playing 2K15, and I made it some motherfucker look like Balrog, and I won the championship with the Sixers. That's how I knew that shit was a video game. Because no way. I think I tweeted.
Ain't no fucking way.
I twit picked that shit. That's how long ago that was, when twit pick was still a thing. I was like, oh look, I got a championship. And I was an MVP, the finals and shit like that. This motherfucker had, when I say he looked like Balrog, he like Balrog from the Street Fighter movie, not from the video game. He had that V in his haircut. The shit looked terrible. So anyway, if you want to look like Balrog and win the championship, get you an Xbox or a PlayStation and play them games. I myself am playing Star Wars Battlefront. I mentioned that earlier. It is so cool to play in Star Wars modes, and it's pretty much like if you like Call of Duty and those shooting games, but you're Star Wars, so you're pretty much like a rebel or a stormtrooper, and then you could be Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, and all your favorite. Lando is OP as shit. Lando kills everybody. Every time Lando comes on, it's like motherfuckers just start dying. He is so trill, and he got the cape and everything. It's glorious. Play Star Wars. Play and look for me on Xbox Live at Classic Materia, same as on Twitter. I would love to play with you, especially if you got that Star Wars, or play with Jeremy. He's playing at 2K. Let's go. Let's get it. Thank you. A shout out to all of our listeners, all friends, all other podcasts out there. Jeremy, any final shout outs before we shut this off?
Well, one, shout out to you for having me in probably the pettiest episode I've ever been a part of. That's number one. Number two, shout out to my partner in crime, my brother from another mother, Daniel, aka Dan Chrism, aka Light Skin Jermaine, aka tell your tall auntie to redirect her to his mentions. Shout out to my beautiful, wonderful, amazing girlfriend Monet. Thank you so much for being in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to
gorgeous. I look gorgeous. You won, bro. You won.
I did.
I tip my hat to you. I tip my cap. I pop my collar. All that stuff. Because I'm just so proud, man. I'm like, yo, Jeremy, man, do it. Because when I first saw you got booed up and everything, I was happy, and I was like, man, that's how that's how you happy for your boy when you see that's the kind of girl that if you getting your hair cut, you call and be like, yo, come by the barbershop real quick, just bring something. Like
Yes.
you really have no reason. You just want to show off, but it's like, oh, come by the barbershop. I left. I gotta give this. I owe this guy some like $5. Can you bring that with? Or can you bring my jacket to the barbershop because it's kind of chilly out? And then she comes in, and then damn, and then she leaves, and yo, bro, oh, that's you. That's how that goes. So take pride in who you got. Because motherfuckers out there is hating, and this is how this all started. Because some motherfucker could have shut the fuck up about people's relationship. So let that be a lesson to you. Don't talk about people's relationships, and don't jump in for your mans when he's doing that shit too. Blurs Online, what's up with your mans?
And also shout out to real quick. I know we weren't gonna talk about anything really serious, but I do have something real quick, just real serious to address. Just briefly, LGBTQ people, just know that you are loved, that you are appreciated, that you are not a sin, that you are not an abomination, that you are equally as deserving of love, protection, just everything that comes with human rights. You are deserving. You are not confused. Your sexuality isn't a choice or a lifestyle. It's part of you and your humanity, and you are loved. Like, I know, especially with the past couple of days, the shit with Kim Burrell,
yes,
and motherfuckers, and especially black folks, motherfuckers, basically becoming the Republicans that we hate. When it comes to LGBTQ issues and sexuality and shit, just keep your head up. Like, if you have to protect yourselves, protect your sanity, protect your energy, log off of Twitter, Facebook, just disconnect and do things that make you happy.
And rest in peace to Misha Caldwell. Say her name, folks. First transgender murder of 2017, which is not something you want to say or talk about, but people need to know that this shit is real. And these people are real, and rest in peace to her, man. Because this look, man, murder and death is fucking sucks, and it's even worse the fact that people just get murdered just for being who they are.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? For choosing who they want to be, and we're getting a year in an era where it's gonna be even more dangerous out there just to be who you are. And the fact is, we need to come together now more than ever. This is a motivation that we have for continuing to do podcasts. That I really hope every last one of our podcasters, networks, people, our friends, people that do podcasts, continue to put out content, because we need it now more than ever. We need safe spaces. We need to talk. We need to let it out. We need to be comforted, and we need to be informed. Yes. Now more than ever before, there is no reason why any of us should be silent, and we need to come out and give each other the content and the solace and the education and the insight that we need to get through this, because it's not going to get easier. It is not. So rest in peace, and really try to be safe to all those out there that are really struggling every day. We really do appreciate you and love you.
Yes. Yes, and if you need somebody to talk to, you can reach out to anybody on the CSPN network. We are here for you. We love you, and just keep your head up. You know what I mean? Like, for real. Like, and to other people, other hetero people, others cishet people, we need to get each other in fucking formation.
We do. Cishet Dipset, we need to get down and and step up for our brothers and sisters, and for those out there that actually are dealing with this. We need to get together, because guess what? You know what I'm saying?
Bigotry all flow from the same river.
Exactly.
It's just different streams.
Yeah, I was just thinking about this motherfucker's inauguration, which thankfully my job was like, yo, y'all have the day off. And I was like, I wasn't coming in anyway, but thank you for letting me keep a personal day, because I was really gonna call out black as fuck. And guess what? It would have been on my timesheet, black AF that day. It was not sick, not personal, black AF. Nigga, I was not coming to anywhere near DC for this Trump shit. So they was like, inauguration we close. Don't come in. don't even bother. Enjoy that 3-day weekend. Because you can watch that shit on TV. And I'm like, nah, I ain't watching shit. Because guess what? You know how many motherfuckers be out there protesting? This might be the first presidential inauguration where eggs is thrown, where tomatoes and like actual shit's thrown. And I'm concerned actually that there might be riots and all the other kinds of things. Because this motherfucker, it's not even the fact that people are mad. Different types of people are mad.
Everybody, how you literally like usually a president or a president-elect manages to piss off like a particular group of people. I mean, usually black people.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
But this motherfucker has pissed off everybody.
Everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody. The news media, Hollywood, blacks, Latinos, whites, liberals. The LGBTQIA community. God damn it. There's nobody that he's not pissed off. People that appreciate education. People that appreciate
countries, not Russia.
Climate control, climate change, environmentalists. There is no. I don't even know how he's elected president. This is the biggest scam in the fucking world.
Because whiteness would protect whiteness at all costs.
And y'all should have been glad that I took a break through the election because it would have been a rageathon. 2016, all that fall. Every week I was stewing and I was like, "Who got a podcast this week? Maybe I should put one up." Nah, I'm gonna leave it alone because I'm gonna be mad. And I actually had a year in review podcast on deck for 2016 that I was going to put out. But guess what? You know how you plan out shows? I had a spreadsheet. That shit was like 50 rows of people that died in 2016, like, notable names. And I just kept adding names. And I was like, fuck this year. I can't even talk about this because I'm going to get so mad.
You was like, fuck this shit, I'm out.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? It's like, you can tell the way I talk sometimes that I am kind of a rageaholic a little bit. Like, I do like getting mad, but I see what happens when you get that mad. And that's why I don't get to that point. I'll go down that road too often because it's like, okay, just get passionate about other things. Use that passion for something else. Do better. I know we're all mad. We're all sad. We're all upset. Let's do better for each other. Let's be out there. Let's show some love and let's make things a little better for each other. Hug somebody today. Give them some content. Thank them for that content. Work on yourself. Work on your show. Make shit podcasts. Enjoy shit podcasts. Because guess what? We are all the shit. And at the end, this is about more than just a goddamn podcast. This is the Classic Team Up. I'm Classic. And I'm going to see you next time. Peace out.